Hi guys, Patty Kitts here, and I am so excited to share with you all about Power Buddy for Learning. It is how Power School / Schoology is rolling and integrating AI tools inside of Schoology to make our lives easier and for us to work a little smarter, maybe not as hard. So, as of today, March the 4th, 2025, you are going to start seeing the Power Buddy icon, the P, inside of Schoology when you go to create certain items. So let's dive in and learn all about Power Buddy. Currently, we are using we have a limit that comes with our Schoology that we have already purchased. We are only excuse me. We only have the content generation features for teachers at this point in time. So it can help you with creating assignments or planning or just basic everyday tasks that you do as a classroom teacher. There's 26 of them. And in the future, possibly we may roll out the student side of AI that you'll have control over. So let's watch a quick little video. Get this queued up.
For Learning is the personal assistant for teaching and learning. It makes educators' lives easier by helping them easily create high-quality assessments and instructional content. And students benefit from a personalized assistant that is always available to support them in the way they choose to learn. Here's how it works. Students interact with Power Buddy while working on assignments and receive assistance to guide their learning without providing them with answers. Pre-generated prompts give ideas about new ways to explore a topic, or students can converse with Power Buddy in their own words. The responses are appropriate for the student's grade level, reading level, and other unique traits. Educators can use generative AI to save time by quickly writing content such as passages, stories, or model texts as they create assignments or use the discussion board. They can prompt Power Buddy with their own words and can control output parameters such as length, reading level, and language. Students also have access to an automatic speech recognition tool that they can select to convert spoken language into written text to help them as they engage with Power Buddy. And that's how Schoology Power Buddy for Learning saves educators time and provides personalized assistance for students. Visit our website to learn more.
So as you guys can see, there's a lot of exciting tools that are coming out, features that we're going to have, and I'm going to reiterate again. Right now, we're only rolling out the teacher content or lesson planning, the things that you can generate to share with students. We're not rolling out the student part just yet. So let's get this kind of started and dive in. Let me move me out of the way. So Power Buddy, as they said, is an AI-powered assistant. It's going to help you create high-quality assignments, create some instructional content instead of you maybe having to go out and search and look for things that tie into your curriculum. You'll be able to create those really easily within Power Buddy inside of Schoology. You'll be able to pick your grade levels. You'll give it information. You can align it to your standards. It's going to be all right there, ready to go as you get into that. You'll be able to, depending on what you're actually creating, you'll be able to adjust the length, the reading level, and even the language for your students and for yourselves. And it's designed, this one is designed specifically with K-12 in mind. It's whereas some of the other AI tools are not focused just on education. This one is, so it's a little bit different. And it does integrate into Schoology. And so it's going to be one of I think, a tool that you guys will enjoy using and hopefully you'll find beneficial. Okay, so let's get started. How and where do I find Power Buddy? So you're going to go to Schoology. You're going to navigate to your course, and then you can, once you go to add materials, there are 3 different components where you can use PowerBuddy for learning. It's going to be under assignments, discussion, and add pages. So if you use any of those features inside of Schoology, you'll have access to PowerBuddy. So once you pick an assignment or page or discussion material to add to Schoology, then in that text editor box where you title your assignment and then you start putting instructions in, if you will click the PowerBuddy P, the logo that's going to be on that rich text editor, it will give you the option of 25 different materials that you can, or items that you could have it help you create. Pretty cool. We'll look at those 26 things in just a second. You'll select that particular item or the thing that you want to use or create, and then you just start using the natural prompts. It'll guide you through questions and information they need you to answer. So let's look at the 25 different content items that you can actually create. All right. There are 25 different things that you can create. I know it's kind of small. Academic content, classroom activities, decodable text. Say if you've been working on short I, short A, and you want some passages for your students to use, you can go grab that. Any kind of assignment that you're really wanting to use, the academic content and the classroom activities will help you with that. DOK level questions, differentiated passages, comprehension passage, discussion questions, essential questions just for lessons and units. You can kind of give it some basic information. It will help you come up with your essential questions that you want to ask. Exemplars, fluency passages, even help you with family communications to parents for K-12. Knowledge checks, generate learning material, or even a lesson hook. They have math word problems, mnemonics. If you want to create something to help your students remember specific things. A lot of times I think of science when I do that, but there's other ways that other subjects you can use that in. Project-based learning plan. If you're just trying to plan something out, this is going to help you. It'll help you pace things out. Science labs, word problems, study guides, vocabulary, generate even songs to help students remember things. So there are a lot of different options of items that you could actually create in here. And so let's just kind of dive back in and let's talk about what it's going to ask. So when you ask it to, this one is a screenshot of the academic content. First section on the left, you'll notice that you're going to give it, okay, here's what you want, here's what you're teaching, here's what you want them to be able to do. Kind of give them a basic idea, but the more specific you can be and the more you can fill in, the better the response is that you're going to get from any AI tool. You can put your standard or your objectives. You want the students to be able to, or you can copy and paste your state standard in there. On this one, it asks for a grade level. It asks how long the text length needed to be. You can pick so many words, so many paragraphs, those types of things. And it will do that. And then the last thing I think on most of the options it will be the language. If you want it English, Spanish, whatever. You can create it in English first. And then if you know you have a lot of Spanish speaking students or Vietnamese and you need to regenerate that so you have that same assignment in that language, you can do that just for those students. So that is pretty cool. Once you click that generate button over here on the right, it's going to take a minute or two depending on what you're asking it to do. And it will come up with your content. It will show it here. You can look at it. You can say, yes, this was good. This was accurate. This is what I want. You can even edit it. And then once you get it like you want, if you click the insert button at the bottom, it's going to go straight into Schoology without you having to do anything else. So you can add to it just like normal. So it's going to work very easy. While we talk about generating content, it may seem straightforward to ask PowerBuddy to create an assignment, but what kind of assignment? Do you want them to create step-by-step directions for a project-based learning assignment? Do you want them to write an argumentative essay? if you're doing that, the more specific you can be, the better off that is going to be for your students. The first time you create it, or if you word it proper, you're going to spend less time having to go back and refine your prompt and your questions that you're asking PowerBuddy to generate. Sometimes you're going to ask PowerBuddy to do the work. Other times you're going to be asking PowerBuddy to write an assignment for students, asking them to do some work. So you can use it two different ways, which is pretty cool. All right, let's talk about PowerBuddy request limits. There are limits. We have a certain allotment of requests that are generated with the free version that we currently have with our Schoology purchase. So we need you to be efficient. We want you to use it, but we want you to be efficient with how you use it. And so just some tips to reduce requests is share. So if I'm a third grade teacher and I'm working with the entire third grade team and we're creating things, have one person do the request for that assignment, not multiple people, because that way it would limit those requests. Use your Schoology groups, or your Schoology sandbox classrooms to put those assignments in so that you can all share those groups, and really use that divide and conquer strategy. Now that works great if there's multiples, but we have a lot of singletons out there that you are the only one. And so you don't have that luxury. Some of you that you're the only one that teaches that particular subject or content. So think about those. Use those first three and then edit. This last tip is something that everybody can do. If Buddy creates the requested content, I can reuse it. So if I have it in that sandbox class or even an archive class, I can go and get it again and not regenerate it even in the next year. I can take it and tweak it from what I already have. Sometimes you may want to take that information you put in the first time and change it for the second time you ask it to create something similar. So edit, reuse, think about the ways that you can put things in your sandbox classes or your archive. We can pull assignments from our archive classes. So let's go try it out. All right, guys, let's walk through how to use PowerBuddy for learning. Remember, we can go to materials. We can go to assignment, page, or discussion. And any of those three, it would create. So this time I'm going to go to assignment. And you'll, like normal, you will title your assignment just like you would. I'm going to do, let's do a study guide for the giver. Chapters 4 through 6. And I'm going to click the PowerBuddy content. We've been reading or getting ready to read. And so here are the screens that you'll see when you come in. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to pick, let's do a study guide. And let me move. Slide me out of the way here. And we're going to create a study guide. You're going to go through and fill in the boxes. Create a study guide for chapters 4 through 6 of The Giver by Lewis Lowry. I want 10 questions that focus on plot and character development that are open-ended questions. So I've been pretty specific here. If I wanted to tell it also that I wanted 5 multiple choice questions and 2, I could do that. But the more information that I put in about my content needs and what I want it to create, the better of a response that I'm going to get. Okay, I want a study guide over chapters 4 through 6, kind of walks the kids through what we've read or what they're reading, kind of a gist, and then I want some open-ended questions that make them reflect on that. Then the next box that has you fill in is, what's the objective? What's the description? And I really want students to analyze how, as the plot unfolds, how that characters develop through their actions, their story, their motivations, things like that. So you could put your state standard in here. You can put your class, or the students will be able to. You can put that in here. And then I'm going to pick my grade level, and I'm just picking a grade level, 6th grade. We're going to pick 6th grade, and then the language. I could have it generate it in any of those languages, but for right now, we're going to generate in English. We're going to click generate, and it starts up. It's going to give you tips over here on the right as it's working. You can see it's taking it just a second. It's going out, and it's knowing the AI for PowerBuddy is focused on the education side. So it is being very particular about the things that it looks for when it creates the content or things that we might need. So here's what it created for us. We see the study guide, the chapters. We talk about character development, what's happening with the different characters. This looks good. And then here's my 10 open-ended questions. Those are pretty good. So if I click, if it did a good job for me, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. And when I do that, it's going to say, okay, it's accurate. It's definitely relevant. Maybe not say well written, but I like the way that it lays this out. Then I'm going to click submit. And I could copy it to the clipboard if I wanted to put this like in a Google document, so where I had these questions that I could put into something else later. I could do that. Or since I'm doing an assignment in Schoology and not a page, I could copy it. I could just automatically insert it. But if there's something that I want to edit, I can do that here. So like if I I wanted to add something that left out, or if I wanted to rephrase it, I could do that. Okay, so, but I'm pretty much happy with the way this looks and what it's going to look like. So I'm going to click insert. I'm done editing. I'm going to click insert. And then you're going to fill out just like you do the rest. Something I probably would change on here is to give my students more directions about you can answer these 10 questions in a Google Doc or use Schoology editor. Okay, so I put that in there just so that they'll know what they need to do. I could have given them a Google Drive, a file document that they could put all of their answers in. I could put the questions in there too. So however you choose to do what you normally do is totally up to you. And pick your due date, your total points, your categories, just like normal. And then sync to SIS, is that turned off? And then you click create. Oh, we missed a category field. Sorry, not sure why it didn't pick up. All right, so we got that in there. We got everything there. They're going to submit. So all of that's great, lovely, wonderful. And we're going to click publish. And then now when our students come in, they have our assignments down here. That's that particular one. Here's what the students will see when they click on it. This is when they get into Schoology. They're going to be able to look at their study guide there. And then they know on their side, they'll go over here and click, and they can create a Google Doc, or they can use the Schoology word processing editor and turn in the answer to those 10 questions for me. So that is that particular example. Ways that you can do that. So you can kind of look and see what those types of things might look like. Okay. A couple more examples. There's one that I did on decodables the other day that I told it we'd just been working on short I, short A, and I wanted to create activities for just the codable text that we could use. Provide a topic for the passages. I did playing out outside activities for springtime. And then how many did I want it to generate? I wanted 3. And it gives me, it gives me those 3 specific ones. Another example is project-based learning questions. I said, this is one that I use. It says, how did different groups of people impact early history in Arkansas based on what we have learned in Chapter 3 of Cultural Encounters? Students should be specific. So I wanted it to, based off of what we do, I was trying to plan, have them do like a discussion question. And how did the different groups of people impact the early history of what's now Arkansas based on what we've read? And so I wanted it to give me 4 different questions. And here are the 4 questions that it came up with. And then that way I could use these anytime I want to post just one question, or I could create an assignment where they got to choose and they had to respond to one of those questions. So all kinds of different ways that you could use that. One of the others is trying to come up with project-based learning for these students. We went in and in the described content needs, here's what we did. We want to develop a learning project for students to analyze cooperation between the colonies and indigenous communities during and after disasters. 7th graders can. So I gave it very specific directions, what the objective was, how long I wanted it to last, and then it outlined what we would do during that time. So instead of me trying to sit there and spend all that time doing that, it did it for me. So love that feature. And lastly, you have the content items that you can create, and there's a training video that will show you a similar assignment, and then what the student side would look like if and when we'd ever turn that on. So if you have any questions or need help, please let me know. We're excited about these new opportunities.